You're listening to Flying Casual, a Star Wars podcast. Here's your host, Michael Canterbury.
Flying Casual fam, coming in hot. Episode 12 of Flying Casual. Nice and lumpy after the holiday. Thanksgiving, yeah. Hope you guys got your fair share of stuffing and turkey or no meat at all.
We didn't have a casual famsgiving.
Casual, that actually may...
Next year.
Yeah. No, I mean, we could do that, right?
Sure.
Why not?
Oh, why not?
I mean, have everyone over, you know? House fits probably about 15 to 20 people.
Snugly. That's
being generous. Yeah, that's a very, very snuggly Thanksgiving with the casual fam if you're all here. Yeah, back from the holiday. Everyone got a little time off. We're 2 days behind on an episode release, but hopefully you guys will forgive us for that. But Holly, got the lovely Holly here with me. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. It was great.
Did you eat a lot of nice vegetable, inspired dishes?
A pot pie.
A pot pie with
vegetables,
mashed potatoes, all the fixins.
Yeah, stuffing.
Turkey gizzard.
Of course.
Of course. Okay. Just making sure. Got Luke here as well. Luke, did you have a pleasant Thanksgiving?
I had a couple Thanksgivings, I would say. Good times, round two. Round one, round two, back to back, Thursday, Friday.
Oh, that's at least it's not the same day. When I was younger, my family, we had a split family. You kind of did, half the day with one, half the day with the other. So it was just exhausting. And also, I was sick every year. Like, it was just one day of eating the same food, but you felt obligated to. You had the one family member there that made something really special. Well, you gotta try this, you gotta try that, honey. You gotta hurt my feelings. Well, that was in both families, and so it was a disaster. But so that's good. You got to spend time with the in-laws and your family and just breaking bread. Did you have all the good fixings, Luke?
Oh, a little bit of everything. We had more than enough.
Amen. And we are thankful for that, right? That we can stuff our faces with an absurd amount of food, day in, day out. A lot to be thankful for.
Stuff our eye holes with Star Wars.
And that's what we're continuing to consume, not, with a turkey, but we're consuming Star Wars content, whether it's the best content we've seen from Lucasfilm or not. As of late, we're thankful for it. We're thankful for the continued Star Wars content. And so, yeah, before we get into our main discussion points, I guess we want to say for the day, a little bit of housekeeping. If you've been on the social media lately, you've noticed that I've been out there I'm out there creating T-shirts. That's my thing right now. I'm on TeePublic creating T-shirts for the podcast. So you had the the softball Flying Casual logo, which looks really sick. Holly
comes in many different colors.
On many different colors. Especially though, looks sick on a navy blue. Am I right? And a red, even light blue.
Yeah.
There's too many good ones.
Purple.
The purple looks great. I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back for that logo because that thing looks sick with almost every color that TeePublic has to offer. So shout out to myself for that awesome logo. So that was kind of the softball one. And then it was over the holidays, and I pitched this idea to Holly, ready for her to just say, that's a terrible idea. Just don't do it. But there's so many of I don't even know what you call it. I called it the and shirts. So I'm Googling and shirts with the ampersand. Right, and I don't know what else to call them. Do you know
where did it come from?
Where did it come? Luke, are you familiar with this shirt that everyone's wearing, where it has mashed potatoes and pot pie and sweet potato? And you ever seen? Those were just examples. That was
I haven't a clue of what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to show...
I've never encountered this.
I'll have to show Luke the TeePublic page. And I just don't know what people call them, but they're really popular right now. And everyone has really, funny spiels with ampersands and Did you find something?
So it's
okay.
actually from an Amsterdam design studio called Experimental Jet Set. And they made one for the Beatles. It said John and Paul and Ringo and George, designed for a Japanese T-shirt label in 2001. So this has been around for a while. I feel like we're really late to the party.
Well, I don't know. Are we late to the party? I feel like everyone's kind of doing it right now,
But
right?
2001.
That was a long time ago. That was a long time.
Yeah.
Why is it catching on now?
I don't know.
Luke, is this ringing any bells now? Or you know what we're talking about?
Nope.
Still nothing.
Not anything.
Not a
No.
Beatles fan, apparently.
Well, I think the first time I ever saw it was for a Friends shirt.
Oh yeah, with Monica and
Like Joey,
Chandler.
Yeah, Chandler. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw that one in my research. So I recalled that, and I'm like, that's funny. Like, there's a few things about this podcast that, kind of define it, I think, as immature as they may be.
Ooh, tell us what you picked.
But tell you want me to spoil it if they haven't got it? Yeah, we'll go ahead and spoil it.
Do we?
Yeah, I think you got to sell the shirt.
Yeah.
This is selling the shirt.
Yeah, like skip ahead 30 seconds.
If you don't want the
wanna
shirt
know.
spoilers and you want to go read it yourself, skip ahead 20 seconds
Go
or
to
something.
teepublic.com.
Oh, it's TEE public.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, just need to specify that, not the letter T there. But so I created one of these. What do we call them again?
And flying casual.
But no, but what they called it, it was an experiment. What did they call that? Did you get out of that already?
No, it didn't say what it was called.
Oh, they didn't title the whatever this was.
I think I said Amsterdam and you heard ampersand.
I mean, maybe, yeah. But so anyway, I went with the idea, even if it's 19 years old. I went with it, and so we have one that says phrasing and chills and Sith plots and flying casual, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's really good.
You actually thought it was a really good idea and said go with it,
Yeah.
and I was in shock. I think my jaw dropped, and like, she liked my idea. Let's roll with it. So that's up on TeePublic now, and it's got a sale going on right now there, so you can get that you can get a T-shirt for $13 on there. And the cool thing about that, some of that goes to TeePublic, but we also get a percentage of that as well as content creators, which is a great avenue for artists who want to go out and not have inventory of T-shirts to try to sell, and they can just get a percentage of the sale, and the rest goes to TeePublic,
right.
and it works out fantastic. So
and then Michael takes the funds and puts it right back towards buying another flying casual shirt for
right
himself.
back to the I mean, you're gonna have that period in the beginning, right? You're buying yourself some swag, you're wanting to showcase it. But yeah, so those are out there at TeePublic, and we've got the link on the Facebook, the links in the Instagram bio right now, so you can go check one of those out. The logo, though, I mean, looks sweet. And new designs are coming. I got some good people here that have really good ideas, and so this is just the beginning. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it. So go check that out, TeePublic.
Yeah, so somebody can make a caricature of me and Chewie, and we can put it on a flying casual shirt.
We can put it in as a high quality PNG, we can make it a shirt. I just need to say, like, you can do anything you want.
If you could put it on paper, you could put it on
a shirt. It just needs to be high quality in a PNG format. Just need to say that. So if you've got good stuff, you want to make a shirt out of it, fantastic. Let's do it. But so that's up there, ready to go. Also in housekeeping, we mentioned this a couple weeks ago, last week, maybe in the last episode, but Flying Casual is starting a Patreon, and that Patreon is actually now live. You've got 4 tiers on there to go check out. You've got a $2, a $5, a $10, and a $15 tier. So you have I believe we're calling it Youngling, Padawan, Jedi Knight, Master? Jedi Master? I think it's Jedi Master.
You picked the tiers.
What was that, a joke?
No.
I did pick the tiers. I feel like there's a joke there that you made. I didn't
There's
catch
not.
it. Okay, I missed it then. So you have 4 tiers there, and there's exclusive stuff there for each tier. So go check that out. The content is coming. We just got that thing launched, so we can get it out there. And the content is coming, so be prepared for that. Some really fun stuff. I will say, around, I think, the second tier, the $5 tier, is when you can actually get into the Trivia Trials Intergalactic League, and that's going to be an online league where we will host trivia matches between those Jedi Knight, or no, not Jedi Knight, Padawan tier patrons.
That's right.
So for $5 a month, you can get into that league. Depending on the interest and depending on how many people we get in it, we could go on this forever. We could do it forever, which would be exciting. So go in there, check out that $5 tier. And then your Jedi Knight tier is another cool thing. We're going to be doing monthly podcasts with the Jedi Knights. So in a hangout style format, kind of like we do here with Holly and Luke. So get in there, get in that. That could be... Who knows? The possibilities are endless. With a podcast that big with that many participants. So we're still structuring that out, but that's kind of the general idea of what we're going with. And then in that top tier, I mean, there's merch, there's exclusive artwork by Holly Walho herself.
It's me.
So some good stuff in those tiers. You know, we're going to find two things as we go. We wanted to get that up and start getting, you know, exclusive content on there for you guys that are willing to go in there and offer your donations and contribute as much as you can. We appreciate that. And, you know, if you can't, that's fantastic. Just keep listening to the podcast and contribute with the community as much as you can. And that's all we ask. So that's my housekeeping. Anything else to nothing else from the crew? Okay. Well, I mean, we've got a topic today. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, but Luke's done some research as on our main discussion point. And you know, full disclosure, it may actually not be what you think that we're going to talk about. Luke may go on a Battle for Endor kick. I don't know what he researched, but Luke has done the research for this episode, and he's coming out with a main topic. So Luke, in all your digging, what did you find, my friend?
I've been on what you might call the dark web of Disney Plus. I've been digging around in there to see what they have, you know, like, hey, look, like 8 seasons of Boy Meets World. Oh, hey, I got some 10 things I hate about you. Look at that.
Or Brink, my favorite inline skating movie of 1997 or whatever it was. A treasure.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So there's all sorts of stuff in here. So I'm poking around.
Yeah.
Looking, you know, what can I find here? You know, I usually just go for the Star Wars right away, but
Amen.
Poking around for the hidden stuff, the hidden gems. I see something interesting. I throw it on. Within a couple of seconds, I find myself smack dab in a Battle for Endor remake.
Oh my God.
What?
This is out there.
No, it's not.
Trust me.
Are you making this
You
up?
said battle.
So
hold on.
These raiders, they come into this village. They start attacking the place. This time, Wilfred Brimley has all sorts of armor on, face mask and everything. They turn Teak. They made some different artistic choices. They turn Teak into the small green guy who's slow. He's not fast. He's slow.
Oh my God.
All the Ewoks are blue shrimp.
What?
But totally Battle for Endor remake. Through and through.
Folks, I'm a little concerned that Luke bought a pirated, non-authentic version of Disney Plus, and he is watching some made-up production. Luke, what is this? I mean, where can we find this?
Disney Plus.
And I mean, where at it? Is this in some, dark corner somewhere where you have to use a certain code to get into?
I'm on a little bit of pain medication. I have a sciatica flare-up, so this may not have been real, but I think it was called The Sanctuary.
The Sanctuary. My friend, I couldn't have said it better myself, because I was having the same thoughts that you're having right now. And it's funny. And full disclosure, as always, which I probably should have added a full disclosure line to the t-shirt now that I'm thinking about it.
Full disclosure.
Still time to modify that design.
That's a new segment.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Luke, folks, I had no idea what Luke was going to come up with. He had an opening for the show, and but in my mind, I also had the Battle for Endor after watching this episode, right?
You kind of spoiled it a little bit, didn't you?
I was like, there's
so funny.
no way that he is going to bring that up, but because my mind was there as well. So, folks, that's what we're talking about. The reboot of the Battle for Endor. You may know it as Chapter 4 of The Mandalorian, The Sanctuary. Initial thoughts, Holly. You said you fell asleep before we got started, so I'm immediately a little concerned there with maybe your, first thoughts of this, because I'm hoping, first of all, you have thoughts. Either you fell asleep at the beginning,
or I didn't,
or you didn't. So you may have some thoughts, or you may not. So that concerns me. But the fact that you fell asleep at any point during this episode or chapter also concerns me. So what were your first thoughts, chapter 4?
Okay, well, in my defense, I had just gotten home from a 15-hour
Wow.
harrowing car ride.
I mean, it sounds dangerous. I mean,
then I went straight into what Luke just described.
Yeah.
It was just a little overwhelming.
A little overwhelming.
She made the Kessel Run, it was hard coming off of that.
How many parsecs?
Serious. I mean, yeah, how many parsecs was it? Can you do the math, or?
No, I can't. I don't think there's a converter for that.
It's a metric of distance, is it not? I mean, a metric. I shouldn't even call it a metric. A measurement of distance, is it not?
I mean, sure.
So, I mean, roughly how many parsecs?
Okay, like 900.
900 parsecs.
Oh my God,
wow.
I don't know what the conversion for
Luke, that
is.
may be outside of the Star Wars galaxy. I don't even know if there are 900 parsecs in the galaxy. So
I think what I'm getting is that Holly had Thanksgiving on the moon, I think.
The moon of Endor, maybe.
How did he know? Okay.
So your initial thoughts?
I liked it. I thought that it felt a lot different than some of the other episodes did. I think that there was a lot of new things that were happening.
Yeah.
We finally met some new characters, which was really nice, and we finally got to see the Mandalorian interact with other people in a way that was different than I'm going to come and take you in somewhere that you don't want to be.
Totally agree. I mean, it's a completely different vibe. Luke, were you feeling? What were your first reactions? Were you feeling that same vibe? I mean, to me, it kind of felt like we were on a completely different show.
Yeah, this definitely took a turn and had a different feel, no doubt. And what I have said in prior discussions that we've had on here is I've kind of almost been surprised at how much the show has sucked me in and sunk its teeth into me, and that, like, how invested I feel in it, which I shouldn't be that surprised given that it's Star Wars in the way that my emotions normally go towards Star Wars. But I guess it's kind of jumping to the end of the episode, but I was like genuinely worried and concerned that this was the end of the road for some way in Baby Yoda, that he was actually going to leave him in the village and the story was going to continue on with the Mandalorian without him. Or then when you see the sniper there and he's trying to put Baby Yoda in his Harry Covert in his sights, and it's like, oh my God.
Oh no, this is the end. You're going to see little green brains just. I know that.
Yeah,
would be terrible.
I was like,
graphic.
I know.
I was like, they wouldn't do that to us, would they? But at the same time, like, it almost is starting to feel. I start to worry, like Game of Thrones worry about the way it concludes, and that everyone has these high expectations, that there's so much love out there for Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And it's like, you worry about what his ultimate sort of conclusion is in the series. So it almost maybe would have been, you can imagine a world in which it was okay that he just left him in this village and that was the end of his story for now.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of tease that a little bit, and like, playing with my emotions. So I still just am a little surprised at how easily they're getting me on this thing.
Did that? I'm sharing similar concerns. I think if you're concerned at all, I am becoming a bit concerned.
Tell us.
I really enjoy the first 3 episodes, but I mean, there is this Baby Yoda phenomenon happening where we're losing sight of a lot of things because Baby Yoda and its adorableness is kind of taken over, and I love it. I freaking adore it. I'm gonna go get a plush whenever it comes out. The t-shirts though on StarWars.com are terrible. That's a whole nother discussion. Any of the merch they're doing for Baby Yoda right now is utter garbage, which is very surprising. I don't know how they didn't anticipate this happening with this creature, but they apparently did not. But I'm a bit concerned because in this episode, the best parts of this episode were Baby Yoda.
You think so?
Yes, were the cute moments where he's sipping the drink. It's comedic. That's funny. He's flipping the switches. It's cute. Oh my God, don't shoot him. It's cute. It was the best of the episode for me. The Mandalorian's armor looked cheap in this episode. It's like falling off of his robes.
Wow.
It doesn't look like it covers even his body. I'm like, how did those blaster bolts deflect off this stuff? It kind of felt odd. The villagers were not believable. The main lady was fine. No one else was really believable.
Which main lady are you talking about? Because we were
the love
introduced to
interest.
2 new women.
The love interest. Let's be honest. Cara Dune. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to spend some time on Cara Dune too, but we shouldn't give her short shrift here. Yeah.
No, exactly.
I was like, I feel like I'm about to get voted off of this podcast because I feel the opposite.
No. Well, hear me out. Cara Dune, so far not a great actress. She was really great in the action scenes. I thought that was cool. As an actress, when she's giving a speech to the villagers, it felt cheesy. I wasn't buying it at all for how serious some of these moments have been on the show. I just wasn't. It didn't feel like it was urgent. And then the training of these folks was kind of a joke. But this is what I think Luke agrees on. It felt like the battle for Endor. As much as I say I love it, it was a terrible production, and that's why we love it for how terrible it was. But this is different. This isn't some, 1980s like kind of spin-off. Like it's cheesy. Like that's not what this should be. But it felt like it. It didn't feel serious to me. It just didn't, and that kind of stinks because it's felt pretty serious up until now. Holly, why do you feel like you're voted off the island?
No, I don't know. I felt like, well, to your point about what you said about when she gave that speech to the people, she didn't care. She didn't need to be there. She got dragged into it. She was living on this planet doing whatever she wanted, and then he came into the picture and dragged her into this. Yeah. She didn't care at that time about those people, so she didn't care about motivating them or making sure that they were okay. This wasn't something that she set out originally to do, so I think the fact that there wasn't any urgency to her being like, okay, so just like get rid of this thing. Yeah. Like as soon as they learned that there was an ATST, she was like, no, I'm out of here. I didn't sign up for this. I don't care. Get me out of here. Yeah. So I kind of felt like the way that speech was delivered to everybody was kind of true to how she is. We don't know if she's a trustworthy character or not.
Do we? I immediately felt like we trusted her from the beginning. They have a fight scene there in the beginning, and then I'm like, you guys are going to be best friends.
Interesting. So you felt like you trusted her from the beginning, but you didn't trust her speech.
No, I didn't buy it. I don't think, I just feel like her acting chops are kicking in. I don't know how much acting she's done, but I just didn't believe it.
Well, this is also a TV show that has a lot of green screen and it doesn't have a lot of dialogue. She has delivered the most dialogue probably of any character.
Well, and it's fantastic because I could read lips in this episode, which was great.
Well, there you go.
So maybe that's why I was so focused on, oh my God, I can understand what people are saying and their expressions. But yeah, go ahead, Luke.
Ollie brings up a good point. This was, and you were touching on it there too, is a much more dialogue heavy episode. Maybe like more dialogue in this episode than all the other one else combined. Yeah. It's a slower pace for the most part, and just like having these characters show a bit more who they are. Obviously, Cara Dune's brand new to us. Yeah. And I think like you guys were kind of touching on, we're made to trust her in the fact that her background is with the rebellion. Exactly. And like we know, the rebellion's the good guys. Those are the guys we root for. So she kind of like gets some credibility from that off the bat. I like the little touch. I don't know if they showed this in any of the like promo photos or videos or anything, and I just missed it. But the little Rebel Alliance symbol, like tear tattoo that she had, that was a nice little touch.
That either.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, if you go back and watch it, she's got kind of like you think of like with a gang prisoner or whatever, something where they have the teardrop tattoos from like, I don't know, killing people or whatever that's supposed to signify. But she has one in that spot that's the little Rebel Alliance like crest. That was a cool little touch. And to the point of whether or not she really cared to be there, she gives a lot of her backstory as she kind of was disappointed when the fighting from the rebellion died down and sort of the new government settled in, and it started to be just ho-hum like guard duty type things that a soldier would do rather than like real war. So even though she was getting paid as a mercenary, but at the same time, she kind of shows through that dialogue that she craves the action. So she even stuck around even after the whole ATST reveal and decided to take it on because she's kind of like I guess a junkie for the action almost.
That's true. Yeah, you definitely, and I could pick up on that. I totally felt that. This speech to me I don't know. It just kind of took me out. I'm like, and maybe partially I think it was the music that was going along with it because this music as well felt very Battle for Endor. Just the imagery along with the music, it felt like we're in the Shire almost, but like I don't know. It felt a little. I've had some Shire vibe going on there. It was cool to see. One of the coolest things I thought, kind of imagery wise, was the droid helping them out in the wet fields, whatever you call them.
Oh, with the basket.
No, the basket.
The
Yeah,
basket.
I thought that was
that. I like that a lot.
Cool. Like there was just you're seeing kind of the daily life of people in the Star Wars galaxy that we never got to see before, really. So that I kind of thought that was cool. And they're you mentioned they're pulling out what out of the water? Krill. You mentioned that. Yeah,
as soon as it popped up, I was like, those are krill.
Those are krill.
The one thing that I remember.
And you nailed it.
I did.
And so that was that was cool stuff. And we got to see an ATST, a nice callback there. It was a fine episode.
I mean,
it wasn't my favorite.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Historically, do you watch Star Wars for good acting? No, you go back to
No, you're right. You're right.
I don't think that the acting. I don't think you think Star Wars and you're like, oh my god, those are like the best actors. I've never.
No, I agree. It just took me out of it. It felt so different from the other episodes. It just did. Even the Mandalorian's look, he just looked like they took Obi-Wan's robe and threw a couple pieces of armor off of it. It seemed more fulfilled in the other episodes. I don't know why.
Okay.
It just looked like it was missing something. I don't know.
Not to change the subject.
Come on.
But
watch that cable. You're about to pull that mic out.
And then no one's going to hear what I have to say.
You have done it to yourself.
Sorry, it's a new mic and I can't touch it. Okay.
Whoa, phrasing. Jeezy, Pete.
Okay.
Chills.
So, the Mandalorian.
Yes.
Does something unprecedented when prompted to by that village lady. What was her name?
Oh, Luke.
No idea.
And we're on the planet. Oh goodness, this is how much research I did.
Sorgan, I think it was.
Sorgan.
Something.
Yeah. Sorgan. Yeah, whatever it was.
Okay.
It really not a dense population, and they have these villagers there, and Holly, what did she ask him to do?
Well, she asks him if he ever takes his helmet off.
She asked when the last time was.
When the last time was.
Said yesterday.
Right.
Which is hilarious. Right?
But then he does it again?
He didn't take it off for her initially.
Didn't. But didn't it show him...
After she left.
Waited for her to leave.
But still in plain view of everybody who would have turned around?
I don't know.
Well, but think about, like, I always think about this when you're in a darker place looking to a lighter place, you can see that lighter place, but the lighter place can't see into you. Absolutely. And vice versa. So he was in like that shadowy hut. And so even though he was like looking out at the villagers in the sunlight, I think if they would have looked towards him, he would have been so in shadow they wouldn't have seen him. So he was still concealed.
That's the logic I use when I creep on people outside my house.
Well, great.
Yeah.
So then So 4 episodes in, or 4 chapters in, if you want to call it that, and we've seen him alone in every single chapter.
True. Yeah.
But now we see him take his helmet off.
So I think what you're getting at, then, is it that when we talk about the title of the episode, Sanctuary, is he feeling... And because they even say that at some point, too, like, right? He starts talking to her after being there a couple days or whatever. Like, she's like, couldn't you see yourself kind of settling down here, like raising a family? Or he was talking to Cara Dune about that, right? She's like, why don't you just settle down here and raise a family?
With this pretty lady.
With this, and just chill out. And so, he takes his helmet off before that, I think. But you're seeing him, it's what he wants. Maybe.
Or he's more comfortable here than he had been.
Yeah.
Before he's comfortable enough to leave Baby Yoda, little green bean there, which seems surprising.
I agree. Yeah, that he went and saved this thing, and would he really have just left it there? I mean, Luke thought maybe there was a possibility that he may just have to leave that thing there and go do what he needs to do, but would he really have? I don't know. He went through all that trouble. Was he going to trust that, these people are going to raise this thing in a few days? He doesn't really know
or what their intentions are.
He's very trusting.
It's
in
weird.
that moment. He's very trusting. I mean, I guess he's like, these people got ransacked. Could have been a whole ploy, though, just to get his armor. That's what at first I was like, don't trust him, Mando. You don't know them. They might take your Beskar.
Why does he feel so invested in helping these people?
I don't know. Luke, did you also pick that up, that he's starting to really reveal himself, that he, and not necessarily taking out his helmet, like physically revealing himself, but he's starting to show maybe what it is that he wants. He's having these conversations. He's taking off his helmet, even though, he took it off yesterday. The episode was making a point to show that moment. Is that something you were picking up on too?
Yeah, I think definitely it was to display like his comfort with the place. He felt this was a place where he didn't have to have his guard as fully up as he does or has had elsewhere. And to me, the reason that he probably trusted these people right away is, to me, these people seem to be like the equivalent of like Amish people in the Star Wars universe. Like they live in this galaxy with all this technology, and they probably seem like they were aware of it. Like when those two guys went to hire him, to protect them, they weren't like awed by him or like, wait, what's that? Is that a spaceship? What are those? Yeah. They like seemed familiar with it, and it seemed to me like they just decided their lives would be more simple, more wholesome if they sort of lived away from that normal galaxy lifestyle with all the technology and things. They had a more simple life that they were comfortable with. And the fact that they lived that way and chose to, when they could have chosen to live otherwise in the galaxy, I think that's why he trusted them, that they didn't have like ulterior motives, and would have trusted to have them with Little Green Bean.
Yeah, and, that's a good point.
Yeah,
it's a great point, and those are the two same guys too that said, when he said, just go find this is a big planet. I think Kara may have said this. This is a big planet. Just go move elsewhere. They're like, no, like our families have harvested these water holes. I don't know what they called them, fields, for generations. So yeah, they didn't want to just up and leave it. It's almost sacred to them. So it's a great point that, they're willing to stick their nose out to save this ground. And yeah, they probably really don't, they're probably not a threat to him. But I mean, a huge risk for him to take on these creatures. I don't know if anyone else has really gotten sweaty into these guys and looked up who they are.
I've heard the species is Klatooinian.
Klatooinians.
Okay.
I
think they've been around for a little bit, but I don't know the whole background or the other places they've appeared in the sort of Star Wars canon, but I think they have appeared elsewhere.
Yeah, it was hard to. I don't recall really seeing a whole lot of their features. They just kind of seemed like orcs. Lots of Lord of the Rings references in this episode. Don't be confused. But their appearance in the beginning, going to raid the village, and just them running through the forest and stuff, that really resembled the battle for Endor. It almost felt purposeful, right?
Dude, like with all this talk, it was funny. You said you got those vibes right away. I clearly got those vibes to do the whole joke. My friend texted me right after the episode and had this exact same thoughts. I would love to see somebody take this amazing music for The Mandalorian that what's the cat's name? Göransson?
Yeah.
Ludwig Göransson. I mean, the soundtrack is so great. I would love to see somebody cut some scenes from Caravan of Courage or Battle for Endor with this soundtrack. It would be because I said this a couple episodes ago about the music. Holly brought up the music, and I followed up with saying, like, it's so great because it does sort of evoke cheesy old movie or cheesy old TV series in some ways. Yeah. But it makes it cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes it hip. And edgier. And I think it would be just so great to see scenes with Sindel and Wicket with some of this music. It would be so great. Teak
Sindel shows
zooming
up
around to this recorder stuff.
Yeah.
Like plot twist, it wasn't actually the radars. Let me try again. It wasn't actually the Raiders with the ATST. Instead, the ATST comes out followed by a bunch of Ewoks.
Teak's driving it. Jeez, Pete's.
Oh gosh, yeah, bloodthirsty Ewoks just messing these people up.
I mean, that would be scarier, maybe.
Yeah, and that's their defense felt very primitive, and like the Ewoks in the Battle for Endor. So that was another reason why it felt just so much like that movie. When I think about it being purposeful to really call back those emotions, I let the cheesiness of the speech go a little bit, because that was rampant in the Battle for Endor. And so I totally understand now. I think what they're going for, it wasn't my favorite episode. It just kind of took me out of it. I need to finish watching it again to try to really let it settle a little more, because it was late. Holly, I think, fell asleep, you said, so she probably needs to finish the last 30 minutes of the show.
Yeah,
pretty much the whole episode. It's like, guys, this is the best episode I've ever seen in my life. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Do we know how long he was on in this village?
Weeks.
It was,
I
right?
think a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said at the end, she's like, you've been here a few weeks now. Like, why don't you just, like, he'd been there a while after that.
Yeah.
He'd only been there a few days, though, in the beginning, which is just like, wow, he's really taking up this cause for a little bit of money.
So that is something that I kind of thought was weird, because those guys were, like, begging him to help, and he was like, it's not enough money. It's not enough money. And then they were like, well, we live in this little village. What are we supposed to do now? It's going to get destroyed. Some, like, rural town out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, what tipped him? What was it?
It was saying that it was like this town out there where like nobody else was around, right? But for how much it took for him to like change his mind, like he didn't care about these people and their cause in the beginning, but something flipped to make him be like, well, now I'm going to go out of my way. Like he even argued with Cara Dune about why it was important.
I can't remember what it was. Luke, do you remember what really tipped him to help him out? I don't recall.
Yeah, I think it was just the isolation of the village, and he's looking for that place to lay low because he knows there's going to be people after him in Harry Covert. So
yeah. So then Harry Covert, did he? Was it that he wanted to leave Green Bean there that made him want to get rid of the Raiders and the ATST, or was it that he actually cared about these people? Because I feel like both of those things happened because he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
I feel like both of those things happened at the same time.
You're right. There's a lot going on there. He wants to maybe find a sanctuary for himself or Green Bean, but I mean, you got to be thinking, though, like, if there's these Raiders and I'm just going to go take them out, I know the ATST plays a big part in them being like, whoa, that's that's going to raise a lot of flags.
Right.
But it's like, I felt like it would have raised flags in the beginning. Like, oh, we're going to take out these Raiders. That's not going to attract attention like elsewhere. Like
that was like a great hard cut, I think, in the episode too. And it like cut to that scene where they're just like, no, we're out. You got to leave. You just got to move.
Y'all knew about it. You didn't tell us. Screw you. We're gone.
Goodbye.
Like, oh, no, I promise. We didn't know. Like, come on. Like, and that was one of the parts where I was like, ooh, this is just going to, could have been done a little better. But, so, it's not clear. I don't think it's clear. Like, what, because in my opinion, like, you're going to go out and slaughter all these Raiders to save this village. Like, clearly they want what's in this village for some reason, and they're gonna tell their friends, or somebody's gonna relay the message that they've been attacked or whatever. Like, I don't know,
because he didn't kill all of them.
There's no way.
No,
There's no way.
Sort of from a simply show building perspective, not in story perspective, this was to introduce Cara Dune, who I hope will reoccur later on. It's like, oh, you got to kind of take this little side stop here, this side episode, to pick up this character who's going to come back and be a part of the long-term story. So it's not so much like I mean, and we've talked about in story, they gave us some character bits, learn more about the Mandalorian culture that he's adopted and not showing his face to anyone and that sort of stuff, which kind of got a little bit of that last episode when the armorer asks him, "You haven't removed your helmet, have you? Or let anyone else remove it?" And he said, "No." So it's kind of a continuation of that, just like deepening our understanding of what this current Mandalorian culture is. But I think the biggest thing of this episode was picking up Cara Dune as a character in this story. So it's, in the grand scheme of things, like a little side plot that doesn't connect into the bigger main line of the whole series, I think, other than like now we've picked up Cara Dune so she can keep reoccurring throughout the series.
That's true. That's classic television. That's how all television is, and it's tough to remember that too. And in the Clone Wars and Rebels, I tend to remember easier. It's a cartoon. I'm like, it's for kids, this and that. But this is live action. You're like, give me everything now, and it's a story that's going to progress for many seasons, I'm sure. So you're right. It's to get Cara Dune in there, and she does seem like she'll be a cool character, and I can't wait to learn a little more of her history, because at first when the episode started, I was like, I bet this is Cara Dune's introduction. Like, this is her backstory.
Oh, the mom with the daughter.
Yep, and this is why she's going to get into things, and it wasn't. It was that completely threw me off there. So wasn't expecting that, but yeah, we'll learn more about her and maybe see some flashbacks with the rebellion, which would be cool. Was her as a shock trooper?
I really enjoyed her character a lot. Like, I am fascinated by her. I don't know. I just thought that her character was awesome. She was so like nonchalant about everything. Like at the end when that guy was trying to like snipe off Green Bean, and she like came up behind him and was just like,
that was cool and unsuspected.
I took care of that problem. Like, she just like, she doesn't have time to mess around. She's like, well, here's the problem. I fixed it already.
Well, I thought the introduction was cool. The fight was a little, I don't know. It was cool in that they were mimicking each other's movements. They're that similar, and that's why they hit it off so well. Because I think they even like had their pistols pointed at each other, and that's when Baby Yoda comes out there and sips the broth, and it's adorable. And it's
like they knew each other.
So funny, exactly. Even and he's like, buy you a drink or something. I don't know what he said.
They were just like testing each other to see like what their intentions were.
Very similar skills. I mean, thinking alike, and
you know, I thought that when they were in the tents for the Raiders too, because they like he was just like, I'll cover you. Yeah. And like they just like moved very fluidly.
Oh, they work well together. It was cool though when she disappeared in the beginning, and you see his heat sensor, I think, for the first time.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Which was cool. Yeah, we're seeing all these different gadgets, and all of a sudden they're gone. You're like, she's above him, and kicks the crap out of him. But
see, she's smart.
No, she really is. But it's cool. I love that there's a bounty on her, and she just assumed that he was out to get her. In reality, it's just like, who's this person? How long has she been here? Yada yada yada. But the waitress, the hostess, whoever she was also kind of, I don't know. It felt, I like Star Wars to feel like our world, but her interactions for me are just like very realistic, if that makes any sense. Too realistic.
The waitresses?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like getting someone at the airport to like watch your bag when you run to the bathroom, and they're like, yeah, whatever, I'm not going to pay attention. But
even just the way she was, I don't know, speaking to him, I was just like, this is just not taking me out of everything. It just was. That was one of those moments, that Cara Dune speech, and the waitress just kind of was like, what? No. And also, you're going to let her watch this Baby Yoda that you just fought back for?
Well, he thinks if you pay anybody enough money, they'll do what you're asking.
Yeah. He's been a bounty hunter for a while, so I guess that's his thought. But so no, she's cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing more about her, because we don't know a whole lot about her. She's just like, hey, yeah, I'll keep you some company or whatever. You could use a sidekick or whatever. He's like, nah. I'm like, dude, let her go with you. Come on, like, what the hell?
But he wanted Kuil to go with him in the beginning.
He did, didn't he?
He's lonely.
Wait. He did, didn't he? So why not take her help?
Take her with you. He's going to regret it. He's going to come back.
Yeah.
They're going to cross paths again, and they're going to team
Maybe
up.
they'll go pick him up and be like, hey, we got the muscle, it's Cara Dune, and we need the wisdom, it's Kuil. And
the most unsuspecting band of...
And then little Baby Yoda, who brings the Force.
I mean, isn't that what Star Wars is, though? It's just this hodgepodge group of people
It
that
always
comes
is.
together with a common interest.
It always is. It always
And it
is.
works.
It does. And that's what's cool is we're seeing this kind of play out over a long period of time, which is great.
Luke said that he's lonely. Is that actually why he's keeping the little green bean?
Wait, or is he talking about Queel?
I don't know. Both.
Well, I was saying the Mandalorian's lonely because he keeps asking people to hang with him, but he's taken so much to being the father figure for Harry Colbert.
Yeah.
That and I think it's like Favreau knowing that so many Star Wars fans have aged into being dads and some probably, grandparents as well, that there's all these little beats. I talked about a couple episodes back the whole issue with the little ball on the like lever and saying that's not a toy, and how I connected so much with that because that's probably the most common thing I say around my son. And then all the flips switching bit at the beginning, like, no, don't touch that, and kind of just continuing on that, like, hey, dads, you can relate to this. Moms, dads, this is for you.
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't know if I said this last time, so if I did and I'm repeating myself, just listen. Let me do it.
Holly.
I know, classic me. No, I saw on the internet there was like this meme that was just a bunch of like screen caps of like the Mandalorian, and it had the closed caption on it, just said sighs, long sigh.
Oh,
grunts.
yeah.
Like every single screen cap was just him like sighing or like making a grunting noise, and then somebody like put them all together in like one big picture, and then they were like, this just in, dad of newborn having a hard time or something like that. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping for something I've noticed about myself. Like, your kids end up being like this weird mirror to yourself, and they can reveal things about you that you wouldn't otherwise have known. And so, like, you know, children can be frustrating and they're doing things they're not supposed to, like flipping all the switches.
Yeah.
And, you know, you try to control your emotions and not freak out on them, but like you needed to release in some ways. So like I've noticed my son now doing my frustrated grunt self when he's frustrated, like rather than like yell, you just try to let it out by going like but kind of like controlled. And I've noticed him doing it in the past like week or two. So I'm looking forward to the Baby Yoda kind of picking up some kind of trait from the Mandalorian to really just go all out on this whole like father-son dynamic.
You know it's gonna happen.
I hope it's a heavy sigh.
Oh, you know it's gonna happen. It feels like every episode they're now just like basking, like just adding another layer of it's really thick now. They're playing to the cuteness of Baby Yoda, and I freaking love it. It's a little concerning, but I still love it. But it's bringing in lots of different people though. People that maybe aren't even exposed to Star Wars. I know people at work who've been like, Michael, like, I know nothing about Star Wars, but like, there's this, like, they're calling it like Baby Yoda. Have you seen it? I'm like,
have you
I cannot believe you're asking me this, but
I was walking by a set of desks, I think yesterday at work, and I heard somebody say the words Baby Yoda. I was like, oh.
It's everywhere. They've never seen a Star Wars in their life, but they see the memes now, and it's bringing people in. And I know some people even at work are like, I guess I'm gonna have to check out this Mandalorian thing because, and I only say this because one of my coworkers is she talks just like that, and she's coming to me, Michael, have you heard of Baby Yoda? I'm like, yes, I have. I won't go into it with you because you have no idea what I'm talking about. But they're gonna give the Mandalorian a shot, and maybe, you know, they would never have done that if it weren't for Baby Yoda. So it's another. As the cartoons, you know, on Disney Channel and all these other formats, they're bringing other generations in, and this is another way of bringing other people into Star Wars and them saying, you know what, I had a really good time with that show. Let me learn more about it. It's just, you know, they're doing it in many forms, and this is just another one. And we love it because we love Star Wars, and him being so adorable and awesome is just, you know, another plus on the Star Wars checklist.
You know what I want?
A plush? Me too.
I mean, yeah, but no. You know those like coffee cups that have little things at the bottom of them, like they're like the
Are-
ceramic
you
ones,
can't
and they
clean ever, and
Yeah,
you should never
but
drink out of them.
I want one, but when you finish your
Oh,
coffee,
Jesus.
it's a little green bean at the bottom
I thought you were gonna say
with
that
a
it would
frog
have.
leg hanging out of it.
That is gross. That actually may be one of my favorite parts of the episode. Another comedic moment by Baby
Yeah,
Yoda.
callback.
Right? He spits the thing out of his mouth because he felt
And the kids were
embarrassed
like,
almost. And he's
"Ew."
like, "Wait, I'm not supposed to do that," and he spits this thing out.
Aw.
So I thought that was adorable. Now I didn't think you were gonna say Baby You at the bottom.
He's
of
no
it.
longer French.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
He's turning his back on
look
the
at
French.
that.
Ben, I'm sorry, but maybe there's other. Maybe slurping the broth was a
He's just
French
gonna, like,
tradition. It
pull
pulls
out a
out
cigarette.
Jesus.
It's a kid show.
Oh, that would be actually really funny. He's in the Mandalorian ship. He just like had a hard day. And he just lights one up and puts his little hand out the cockpit.
And then
so-
gets on a Vespa and drives away with a scarf.
Oh, all the stereotypes.
Is that
I
an
forgot the
Italian
beret.
stereotype or is that French? I
Oh,
don't know.
crap.
it's-
I don't know.
Your typical,
Your typical American who
American
just has never been to
interpretation.
France.
The baguette and a beret and a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be if he pulled a cigarette, I would die. He would catch his little garb on fire.
Oh.
I know, because his hands are still pretty small. He can't do a whole lot with them yet, so it would be a little hard.
Anyway,
to
for the
smoke a
record, we
cigarette.
do not condone smoking on this podcast.
No, it's terrible. Don't do it. Unless there were a cigarette provider out there that was wanting to do
No.
an advertising. I'm
But
kidding.
actually,
That's
not
terrible.
even then.
No, we wouldn't even then.
That's
we
a
do not
really
condone
interesting reference you bring up. I've been trying to watch 1 through 8 on Disney Plus before episode 9 comes out, which hell, we're only like
Yeah.
a little over 2 weeks away
Yeah.
from right now.
I know, it's scary.
And they put like the sort of the when you put something on, they put the rating up in like the top corner of the screen. They also have some other like
Yeah.
warnings, and when you put on, I think it's at least episode 4 and episode 2 and episode 1, I think as well, have like a little warning that pops up that says this contains depictions of tobacco use. Because think about it,
Yeah.
I think Jabba at the pod race, I think, might use like the little hookah type
Yep.
Yeah, I
thing.
think he does have a hookah.
Yeah.
And then episode 2, there's the whole death stick bit at the bar, which is like
Yeah.
is an sort of an anti-smoking bit, calling
Yeah.
them death sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it still says this depicts smoking. And then I think episode 4 in the cantina, there's like one of the aliens kind of has a hookah type thing or a cigarette or something. So
I thought Luke was
Yeah.
gonna be like, "It's funny that you bring that up. I've been reaching out to Marlboro. Have
Yeah,
you heard of this
we're
podcast?
some Marlboro
Are
Reds.
Flying Casual.
We have to start smoking on the podcast. That's one of the caveats.
I'm sorry.
Show
I
the
didn't-
product being used in the episode. So we'll bust out a pack here in a bit.
Or not.
Or not.
No.
Never smoked a cigarette in my life, guys. Come on. High five there. Not shaming anyone who has, but I just can't get into it.
Good.
But so I thought rather than a little baby Yoda being at the bottom of your mug, it was gonna be like the ball of the lever, and it was like little baby Yoda like dropped it in his teacup to hide it from him. That was just
That
me
would
and the
actually
little
be
cute,
like
right?
super cute.
Right? I thought that's
Get-
adorable.
The ball would be at the bottom, and the
Yeah.
coffee handle just has him reaching
He's-
out his little hand over the top of the cup.
Dropping it in it.
Somebody at Disney is going to
Yeah.
steal this idea from
Well,
me.
they already took some other ideas that we've had, which is terrible. So I know they're listening. So you're welcome for that other idea that we should never say on the air.
Can you actually go back and edit that out? It's just going to be a long
Yeah.
beep. Holly said that she wants the cup to look like.
Yeah. I'll create a prototype here this coming week. I mean, it totally won't be usable because I'm probably going to put some steel ball in a mug. But
So
we'll
it's
get a
like
prototype
we were
going.
just watching Nailed It.
Nailed it. I was actually going to open up the episode with that and say, don't be confused. This isn't the hit Netflix original series. It's Flying Casual which I would love for it to become a Netflix
A
original
hit
series.
Netflix
I
original
would be
series.
down for that. But Luke, have you ever seen Nailed It? Now that we're talking about it, the show, I thought it was going to be terrible. I watched 4 episodes straight.
I don't know what
It's
this
very
is.
entertaining. It doesn't.
is.
It's arts and crafts or something.
Baking.
It's baking.
It's a baking show.
Oh, those are all the rage.
And the
Yeah.
contestants
Very
are terrible.
trendy. Oh, but so funny.
So funny though. I didn't think it would be funny. I thought it was stupid, and then sure enough, I watch it, and then 2 hours later, I'm like, that was hysterical. Let's watch more.
Yeah, the host even says Nicole Byers
Nicole Byers.
hit us up. She even said, "I know you're still sitting on the couch because you are binging this." And I was like, "Oh my god, she's speaking to me."
Nailed it, Nicole. Oh my god. Yeah. No. That's so funny you were gonna say that because that's how I was gonna open up the show. Nailed it. Just kidding. Don't be confused.
Luke, you got to get on the Nailed It bandwagon.
Yeah,
Phrasing. Moving on.
That was good. No, that was that's gonna be the last spot. On the shirt design, right? It'll say "and flying casual" and then a huge space, and it's just gonna say "nailed it."
Shoot.
This shirt is updating live as we speak. I'll have to get on
Do you think you'll
TeePublic
get
and
sued
change
for that?
design.
They'll be like, "We
No,
own
there's
this."
no way they have "nailed it" trademark. There's no way.
I don't know.
That's a common phrase. There's
Didn't
no
Taylor
way.
Swift try to trademark something weird?
And it got shut down. Probably the number 13 or something stupid. I love Taylor Swift. I was like, you can't do that.
That's not why hotels took the number 13 off the elevators.
I think that's
It
such a
wasn't Taylor
such a
Swift.
silly, stupid thing. That's such a stupid tradition. Why? Or do we have common occurrences of 13 floors like in disasters, other than in like theatrical film?
Can someone tell us the answer to that?
Maybe there's a huge history
Let
of
us
hotels.
know
and I
all
don't know.
of the flaws of the number 13.
So this is why I think we can have just a casual podcast. It's like the casual podcast of Flying Casual, where we talk about nothing related to Star Wars, but
With a Star Wars
twist. Nailed it. Oh, you weren't ready for that one. That's okay. But that was funny. I was going to actually say phrasing, because the joke fell short.
What if all three of us has to come up with a Mandalorian themed coffee cup?
Oh, well, my idea's already out there, so.
Well, so is mine.
Yeah, so Luke's got to work on his. I think he's going to put a krill at the bottom of his mug.
That would
you serve
actually
it to
be
the bottom,
cool.
and that would be cool, actually, right?
Yeah.
There's another idea. 3 ideas.
The handle's
out there.
one of those droids with the basket on its back.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
So if this conversation and what it's become tells you anything about this episode, I'm going to go ahead and say it wasn't our favorite. If you've got to rank...
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have my cup. Mine would have to be a Suka replica cup, which is what the Jawas call the egg.
That's right.
Suka. Like a little furry cup. That would be good.
And
that would be so disgusting.
No, but wait. I'm just picturing a Furby, but only like half of a Furby.
Gross.
Okay, listen.
Yeah, you just gotta chop the head off and hollow it out.
Right.
But the yolk comes out after your drink is finished.
Look, does it have...
Yeah, you'd have to have some like rubbery thing at the bottom that looks like yolk. Or,
Ew.
yeah.
Does it have jagged edges?
Yeah, it's a
It
hazard.
has to have kind of like a little
Or-
rough. Well, no, they kind of sliced it off smooth, I think, when they chopped it with their like machete. Yeah.
Yeah,
Does
it was
it
like
come with the machete?
it was like a sickle almost. They sliced it with, right?
I guess.
I think it was.
I
it was
like
like
it.
Children of the Corn up in there.
No, I don't like that.
That was a terrifying show back in the day.
So
from what
rate
I
our
remember.
coffee cups on a scale of...
Yeah, and I don't think that's anything that I can create on TeePublic because
Probably
TeePublic has
not.
that's another plug for the TeePublic storefront. You don't only have shirts on there. You got sweatshirts. You got even like onesies. I've got so many onesies ideas for people's kids. I don't know if they'd ever put them on their child, but I've got a ton of ideas. But you can get mugs, you can get stickers, you can get notebooks, you can get all this different stuff. But I don't think that's one that we can make on there.
A coffee cup.
You'd have to. It has to be a special modification.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shutterfly.
What about it?
You can make coffee cups on Shutterfly.
Yeah, but could you customize one to have something in the middle of it like that? You could do the outside for sure.
So we do a flying casual pottery class.
They will film it because that would be
We install
great
a
content.
kiln in the podcast
Yes.
studio.
Yes. We could do that.
I mean, we could.
Luke comes over for a night of pottery making.
That's right. This
And
is
we film it.
team building
Romantic
activities.
night of pottery.
Yeah, we
I
dim,
mean, we're
dim
here.
the lights low. We'll light some candles, and we'll just see.
It's not by firelight; it's by kiln light.
It's just flying everywhere because we're
Also,
terrible.
earlier you missed a really great opportunity when we were all talking about Thanksgiving, and Luke was like,
maybe you should do the introduction.
to your eyeballs with Star Wars.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was thinking of Chewbacca roasting
A pork.
porg for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That would have been like the cutest but weirdest.
I didn't see any advertising like that. Did you?
I don't know why Disney doesn't do that.
They put it in a freaking movie. Why
Just
not?
put it on a shirt.
All right, put it on a shirt. Well, maybe we will. Maybe
Somebody
we
draw
will.
that up.
That's a holiday special.
I can just like see it in my mind though. It's like a Bill Watterson style.
I have no idea
comic.
who
He
that
did
is,
Calvin
but-
and Hobbes.
Oh, I
I
do
don't
know
know.
that. Did not know the creator.
Yeah,
Well,
that kind of cartoon.
we'll work on that. We'll get that up on a T-shirt somewhere.
Yeah, that would be.
We actually could get Luke's egg idea up on a mug.
We absolutely.
The
could.
inside we couldn't, but we could get the outside of it looking like one of those Suka eggs. It would be disgusting, and it would look hairy. I don't know if anyone would want to use
Suka,
it, but
Suka.
we'll do it.
Luke, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
That's going to be your Christmas present.
That's right, a hairy mug.
Oh,
But I'm
yeah.
going to custom make it. It's not even going to be from T-Public.
I think
With
you're
his
going to have
own
to
hair.
hand.
With my
Ew.
I'll shave my
hair
head.
mug.
I would need to see that on your
That's
office
right.
desk
That's
at work.
the Star Wars True Crime Podcast
What's that?
crossover.
Yeah,
Michael putting hair
real
on a
hair.
mug.
I know.
I don't know about that.
Everyone would want it. Everyone would want it. So this conversation has taken us to a different place. It feels like this is just me taking a guess here that this wasn't your favorite episode, guys. Holly? Am I picking that up? If you're rating the first four, where does this one fall?
I mean, I think that I liked this one better than some of the other ones.
Okay.
In order, I think this one, it probably goes episode 1, episode 3, episode 4.
Okay.
And then episode 2 would be in the 4th place.
Oh, dagger. in
Okay.
my heart.
I'm sorry.
He didn't like the
I told you guys
Suka.
in the beginning, I'm going to get booted off of this podcast.
No, you're right. Let's go ahead and just mute Holly there for a second, just so I can talk. She's blabbing away over there. Can't hear a word she says. Sorry, Holly. I'm kidding. She's back. Luke, where do you put this episode? In the 4 that we've seen so far, where does this one lie?
It might be 3rd. I am Suka, Team Suka all the way. I love that second episode so much. I might have to put it like, I might put the first episode last, just because I feel like other than the Yoda reveal at the end, we learned the least. So I might even go like 2, 3, 4, 1 from top to bottom for me right now. But one thing I will say, I'm really happy the way they've released this series as a 1 a week for the most part, other than that first week getting 2.
Yeah.
Just for my like life schedule, not having something to binge.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm really looking forward to, once the whole series is out, doing more of a binge-like viewing. Because again, we also didn't know how long each episode was going to be. And the fact that they are shorter, this is going to be especially bingeable. And I think when you view it in that manner, everything has a totally different feel, rather than like you get this one, this is all you have for a week to talk about and to think about and to rewatch. So I think this episode will grow in appreciation in that different viewing format. If you're like binging, like, let me watch 3 or 4 episodes of this in one sitting. It would have a lot different feel to that. But
absolutely,
Michael,
I'm a little surprised, guys. I didn't know you enjoyed this episode so much.
Well, okay, you rank them.
I don't know if I can rank the other episodes. I just know this was my least favorite. I need to go back and look at the other ones again. I know as the show has progressed, I've enjoyed it even more.
Yeah.
Than I did from the beginning. Obviously, that sounds kind of silly, but that's just how I feel. So I would assume that the later episodes will be higher, but this one it wasn't my favorite. I appreciated quite a bit of it, and some of it I didn't so much. It just felt too different at times. But I know what they were going for, and I know that's Favreau, really pulling at those specials and having callbacks there. I totally know it, and I'm sure watching it more times will pick up even more on that, and I'll appreciate it. I'm sure even more after watching it some more. But
we'll have to touch base next week and see.
Yeah,
if you still feel that way.
We almost need I guess it's a mid-season, that we are at mid-season right now. So maybe, yeah. I don't know, maybe we'll kind of try to take a look at everything here soon and kind of see where we are right now. But because we're going to be going on a Rise of Skywalker hiatus here, I believe. I think we're going to be on a break once that releases, at least for a week. It has to take a break, I would think.
In terms of the Mando schedule?
Yeah.
Or talking podcast schedule?
Good question. The Mandalorian schedule. I think that...
Well, they're hitting us with... So this Friday's the 6th. We're getting episode the 6th, the 13th. So that'll be episodes 5 and 6. We're getting the 7th episode of Mandalorian on the 18th.
Oh, they're releasing it early.
Yeah, they're bumping it up to Wednesday. And then... Rise of Skywalker comes out Friday. A lot of people seeing it obviously Thursday night.
Yeah.
So that Wednesday, Thursday for a lot of people will be Mandalorian's episode 7, followed by the Rise of Skywalker the next day, and then they're hitting us with the Mandalorian season finale on the 27th, a week after Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
So yeah, they're not really taking a break at all. It's all coming. Like, we're going to be digesting and thinking through Rise of Skywalker as
crazy.
This finale of Mandalorian's coming out and everything.
That is crazy.
It's a lot all at once, and Clone Wars will be here before you know it.
Yeah.
You don't think that they're releasing it? Okay, there's just been like a lot of speculation about like what this series, if any impact at all, will have on the Rise of Skywalker.
None.
That's fair. I just didn't know what you guys thought.
No,
because now with them releasing it before instead of doing it like,
things are so complicated enough right now for the Rise of Skywalker. I feel like adding another element that ties into this, I just feel like this is going to be important later on. I think it's going to be something big, but it's going to be later on. It doesn't feel like it's going to tie so much into here. It may, building off of what they're doing in the Rise of Skywalker. It just, at first I thought, it totally could, being so close, but I'm just like, I think they wanted to get this streaming service out, as soon as possible, because every month that they aren't releasing it is money that Netflix is making, maybe when they could be making it. So I think they're just trying to get as much out right now as possible. So I don't know. I just don't think. Luke, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a stretch to think that as Favreau was developing this, that he was somehow working with JJ on stuff. So it's hard to. And we kind of talked with that voicemail a couple episodes ago too, kind of speculating along those lines, how it was a stretch to think that they could incorporate it, because 9 has so much ground to cover, and what we suspect was only 2.5 hours, and it'd be really hard to imagine throwing something like this in when we already know 9's bringing in some new characters like Zori Bliss and who's the other British actress who's new to the episode 9.
Yeah. Gosh. I can't remember. On
horseback. Naomi, the actress's name is Naomi something, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So, we have new characters who are coming into that movie for the first time in the whole series, introducing them and how they fit in. It's just hard to imagine something else in addition to the characters and plot lines we already have that need to be resolved.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it did. But that's definitely a valid
Naomi
question.
Aki.
Nice.
Yes.
Very nice. I mean, so speaking of the Rise of Skywalker, it feels like every 5 hours, Star Wars is coming out with a TV spot, new TV spot. I'll be at Thanksgiving, watching whatever, football. Up pops the TV spot. Whoa, hello. Haven't seen that one. Cool. Okay. On social media 5 hours later. Is this the same different TV spot? They are showing so much right now of this last installment. They're taking mostly like a lot of the same imagery and that we've seen in clips, but then they're adding one or two extras in each TV spot. So I don't know if y'all have got to see those. I don't really feel like they're spoiling too much of the plot here, but it's definitely becoming uncomfortable now at this point. I'm like, I just don't want to watch them anymore, but I feel drawn in. I must watch the TV spot.
I don't even feel drawn
resist.
in. Yes.
I tend to jump straight to the dark. You
went straight there. You didn't hesitate.
You didn't even hesitate. Luke would be really disappointed. Luke Skywalker, that is, and Luke Elder.
Both Lukes. Luke squared.
The elder one.
Double Luke disappointed.
Double Luke. Luke. Actually, we might have to refer to you as Luke. Like an expanded universe with two U's.
My buddy in high school used to do the Amperu style to me all the time. Yeah.
Oh, shut up, Amperu. Oh, yeah, we might have to start calling you Luke with two U's because it's starting to get confusing on the podcast. But I don't even know if he pronounced it differently. So it probably was just Luke with another U.
Maybe.
That was Clone Luke.
How do you know this isn't Clone Luke?
Is it Clone Luke? I don't know. It could be. This is a younger Mark Hamill that we're seeing with different hair, more handsome. But maybe there's another Luke Elder out there somewhere that's becoming, Living with Yourself, the show with Paul Rudd, which is hysterical, by the way.
Starring Luke Elder.
So this could be the clone Luke that we're dealing with. We have no idea. Other Luke is somewhere else.
This is the clone you're looking for.
This is the clone we're looking for. Attack of the Lukes.
Would he have a theme song?
I don't know.
It would be
when I look at
awesome.
Luke, what would his theme song be?
A kazoo solo.
That would actually be. I have a great Avett Brothers song for that. Then that might have to. Yeah, so good.
I'm into that.
Yeah, right. That's a great reference, Luke. So they've been releasing a lot of TV spots. Holly, you've seen. I've made you watch a few of these. You protested.
I don't want to watch that. And I think
peeled your eyes open.
Yeah.
I said, watch. Yeah.
And I think Luke mentioned this earlier, maybe before we even started recording.
Yeah.
I just don't want to watch them because at this point, just save
Let
it
the
for me
movie
to
happen.
experience in the movie.
Yeah.
And experience those little things for the first time because I get worried. I know not everyone is worried about this, but I know a lot of times personally when movies start releasing all these extra clips and stuff, I get all excited and then I get to the movie and then I'm like, okay, I've seen all of this already. I don't want that to be my experience going into the theater.
Yeah. Luke?
Yeah, I totally started ignoring the YouTube Star Wars channel alerts on my phone. Just they pop up and just kick them, swipe left real quick. Because at this point we're so close. And, back in April, when you get the first real trailer, it's so exciting, and you watch that over and over again. And even the official full trailer for Monday Night Football, watched that so many times and was pausing it and dissecting every little bit. And sort of everything since then, I've only watched like once, if that at all. Because now we're so close, and now it seems like they're starting to. Even though, like you were saying, Mike, they are probably recycling a lot of clips and footage we've already seen in other things. Just rehashing it and slicing it together in different ways slightly. But at this point, my desire to see a trailer is just done, and I'm ready for the movie. So I'm in the like Holly was saying. I know enough going in now. I don't need or want to see any more at this point. So
that tells us we're ready, right?
And the other thing is, like, you watch these little clips. Like, there was one that Michael showed me earlier, and it was of Rey.
I was going to bring it up.
Well, I'm going to bring it up now.
Let's go.
It was of Rey and Kylo inside a ship in, like, a white, your clean white room.
It's the same area where they cut down Vader's,
whatever
they're calling it.
And then it's, like, a real quick clip, and they raise their lightsabers at each other. And when I watched it, my first thing was like, oh, well, they're training
You
together.
blew me. You're just kind of walking into that nonchalant. That
He was like,
statement
here, look
blew
at
me
this.
away.
And I like looked at it for 2 seconds and I was like, oh, great, they're training together.
Well, because here's the thing. So I'm not a very bright person, so I don't pick up on these things. When I first watched it, I immediately thought, yeah, they're not getting back together. See, they're fighting in that scene.
And then I was immediately disappointed. I was like,
you watch
ugh.
it, and you're like, oh, they don't even seem like aggressive. It looks like someone's just saying, and a 1, and a 2, and a hit your lightsabers together.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, my God, you're right. Like, so Luke, to kind of draw it up for you and spoil it for you, even though you're not watching it, it's a very brief moment. It's what Holly said, that white room, and it's where Vader's shrine was that they seem to bash together.
Yeah.
But the camera kind of pans in on him, and you see Rey just kind of staring at him with a kind of a grouchy face, and then they just kind of go and they just kind of clash sabers, and it goes on to the next scene.
I actually saw a freeze frame of that because I think one of the YouTube Star Wars channel videos that popped up today on my phone had that as the freeze frame.
They did.
I didn't watch the video, but I saw that image. And speaking of, it looks like it's probably that same area where they're in the full trailer where they're like smashing the Vader statue, Vader helmet shrine, and it looks like they're cooperating there as well.
Yeah.
And that I've been watching Empire the past couple of nights. Because that's where I am in my rewatch. I'm up to Empire right now.
Nice.
And it takes me like a couple nights to get through a movie, watching like 45 minutes at a time. But that, I'm seeing like I've gotten to the point where Han and Leia and Chewie have arrived at Cloud City, and they're walking around in there. And to me, that place where the Vader Shrine is evokes Cloud City so much.
It does.
And, like the aesthetic of the room and like design of the walls and things. Yeah, as I was watching that last night, I was like, gosh, that looks so much like that bit from the trailer. And then this newest clip with Rey and Kylo again in some sort of setting like that looks similar to that. So I wonder if we are getting a revisit in some way to Cloud City, or if it's just a design coincidence, like the aesthetic is similar.
Yeah, just to make you evoke a feeling, and yeah.
And that's the thing, is that I feel like we know that JJ is a pro at doing things like these, where he makes you think, like, everything is very intentional with him.
Yes.
And so, like, when they're releasing these little TV spots and stuff, it is the same clip over and over, but with like an extra second of something else that makes you think it's gonna go a certain way. And I just feel like you get to the point with these little clips where you're dissecting it and you're analyzing it, and then you're over-analyzing it, and then you can't stop thinking about it, and you're so concerned that it's going to go a certain way.
Lots of analyzing.
But then you get to the actual movie, and then I think that is why everyone's disappointed with the movie, because you've spent so much time working it through in your mind how you think it's going to go based on these clips, and then it's completely different.
That's what people did with The Last Jedi. And that's the thing. Some of these scenes may not even be in the movie.
Yeah.
They fly now. Like, that may not even be in the movie. So you got to take them with a grain of salt, because they may just show you cool imagery that we're not even going to be using, but we could throw it in here and they won't release the plot at all. Or it could very well. But they did it with Rey, and Kylo reaching out her hand. Everyone's like, I know Rey's there. I know they're going to hold hands and take hands and this and that. And people were disappointed when they didn't. So yeah, it's you gotta be careful when you're watching these things, because they can reveal quite a bit. But it's so fascinating to me because, like I said, I'm not that bright, so I'm glad I watch these things with bright people sometimes and talk about it, because to me I was just like, yeah, like they're fighting, like of course they're like not together because they're fighting there, and you're like, it looks like they're training there. Almost like they're like here's what this person's going to do. Like, you need to be ready for the Emperor to do this. And
then someone on the side was like, all right, go again.
Yeah, Luke's sitting there. Luke and Anakin
all the Force
and
ghosts
Obi-Wan are sitting there. And they're like, yep, again. And a 1, and a 2, and then they're the kind of, that would be sick. I mean, I'd be down for it if that's what's going to happen.
I mean, we're showing up either way.
Yeah, the tickets are purchased anyway. But yeah, so that was interesting to me. I don't want to go through any other TV spots, but that moment you brought that up, just because we had such a different reaction, and then I'm like, yeah, what you're saying makes complete sense.
But also,
yeah.
I mean,
but you
I don't
could
know.
be dead wrong. And I hope you
absolutely
are,
could
and that
be.
they're not working
Oh,
together.
I hope
and
I
they're
am,
fighting
too.
there, and she's just listening to him. He's like, "That's all you got?" She's like, "No," and then hits him.
Yeah,
or
shuts
something.
him up.
Yeah, shuts him up, and force pushes him through the wall or something cool. I don't know. But it does kind of seem like, maybe they are training together or something. I don't know. But it was interesting. So I kind of hope Star Wars just stops, because it's everywhere, and we're all subscribed to their stuff, and it's kind of happening a lot now. I just kind of want it to stop. But I watch every single one. So I say this, and then I'm like an addict. I just go there, and I don't want to stop. I don't want to smoke Marlboros, but I can't stop.
Don't eat that frog.
Marlboro, yeah, don't eat the frog. But smoke the cigarette, right? I mean, it'd be very French.
Put them both down.
Not that not even that the French are big smokers. I would actually like to see, what the comparison is to the United States.
I don't know.
How popular smoking is.
That data's out there.
That data's out there. We're gonna get it. It's not related to Star Wars at all, but now I'm interested. So I'm gonna have to get those
Never
facts.
stop learning.
Right? Anything else in the Star Wars world that I'm forgetting? Luke's doing his. He's on episode 5 of the Star Wars rewatch.
I need to start watching Rebels again.
Gotta finish. I would love to finish Rebels.
Yeah, somebody in the group was like, "Here's a Rebel spoiler," and I was like, "No, scroll."
Delete. You just deleted them from the group.
I'm an admin.
You will not spoil Rebels
Don't post
for
that
me.
in here.
It's been 2 years, but don't spoil it for me. Yeah, we gotta finish that. Gotta do a rewatch. We gotta catch up to Luke. Get caught up.
Get caught up on the Clone Wars.
Wow, that's gonna have to be a different thing. We got to be ready by like February. So
we got some time.
Yeah, we got some time. I have to blow through those 6 seasons to get prepared. But we got to do a rewatch to get ready for the Rise of Skywalker. We're all excited. I know you guys are too. So, I thought this was going to be a short episode, but man, we went in a lot of different places with talking about Chapter 4, the Sanctuary. A lot there to digest, I'm sure. But if you guys have thoughts on The Mandalorian, did you enjoy this episode, the most? Was it, really intriguing to you? Was it your least favorite? What did you think? And where are we going next in this series? And if you got to get your Star Wars Episode 9 theories in, get them in before the movie starts so we can talk about it. We're actually probably going to do a live last-minute predictions. What are we going to see? What do we expect before the movie? So that'll be exciting. Have Luke on here and Holly and all you guys sharing your thoughts, getting ready to go experience the Rise of Skywalker together. And then we're going to come right back and we're going to talk about it some more. So get that stuff in there. You can join the Facebook group. That thing is blowing up right now. There's a lot of Baby Yoda memes. There's a lot of good stuff going on there. A lot of good discussion of the TV spots and things like that, which is great. You can check us out there. You can send us an email to flyingcasualcast@gmail.com, or you can send a voicemail. Really looking forward to another voicemail. We got, Rob's last week, 2 weeks ago? Can't remember, 2 weeks ago. Last week, whenever it was. And it was fantastic. So want to hear more from you guys. I know there's a lot of thoughts out there. We mentioned kind of reading some of the Facebook group stuff. I know Nate said he was cool with it. I don't know if anyone else is really cool with it, or they kind of want that to remain private, but some of those discussions are really good in there, so you got to get and join that group to kind of participate in that. But so you can send your voicemail to 614-398-2119. Leave that there for us. And like I said, we also now have the Patreon going. Get in there while you can before we shut down that $5 tier, because there's thousands of participants in the Intergalactic League of the Trivia Trials, and we just won't be able to take anymore. Let's hope it gets to that point. That would be fantastic. So like I said, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say also, drop us a review, leave us some comments, give us a rating. That means a lot to us. We really like to hear what you guys think of us, if there's anything that you want to hear, how you think we're doing. So
absolutely,
give us all that feedback. We love it. We love to hear from you guys.
Absolutely. We take feedback in all forms, whatever it is. It's good or bad. We'll take that, digest it, and see how we can improve. Or, if you like what you're hearing, keep doing the same thing. But just kidding about the Marlboro. endorsements. We really aren't looking for cigarette advertisers. So just getting that out in the clear and clearing that up for anyone that may have misunderstood the joke. But yeah, get on there, get on the Facebook group, like and follow the page there. Subscribe wherever if it's Spotify, if it's Apple Podcast, if it's, Google Play, wherever it is, get in there, subscribe, leave it a review wherever you can. Especially in that Apple Podcast feed, because that's where the podcast can get out there for more listeners, and it'll become a little more known. So let us know what you think in whatever way you can. And that's it for episode 12. Holly, thanks for sharing this week. Now we know that episode 4 of The Mandalorian is your favorite episode. Luke, you as well. We'll see you next week, guys. Keep flying casual. Adios.